The latest developments in the Middle East. And joining me now to discuss this is Congressman Keith Self, a member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee. He served our country in uniform in the United States Army for 25 years, retiring at the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. He represents the 3rd Congressional District of Texas, and I should mention he spent a good bit of time in Israel working with the IDF. Congressman Self, welcome back to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining us.
Great day to be here, Tony. Thank you.
So, your reactions to the release of these hostages?
This is a great day of celebration. When I was in Israel earlier this year, the number one issue, the only issue for the Israelites, the Israelis, the Jews, was return of the hostages. Let's bring them home. Became a national cry, bring them home. This is a great day of celebration. Should be around the world, 700 plus days in those hellholes of Gaza. Now they're home.
Yeah, unbelievable what they went through. And I know as you've talked to hostages who had been released, I have as well. And just what they endured is just unbelievable. And they're going to have a lot of recovery to do as they come out of that. And so this was one of the war goals that the Israelis, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, had set out to release the hostages, but also to disarm and remove Hamas. Some concern that Hamas has been kind of filling the void as Israel's been backing away. What do we know about that?
Well, they are, and we've seen this before. When one terrorist group is taken down, they morph. How do you change decades of training your children to hate Jews, to hate Israel, to say that Israel has no right to exist? How do you change that with one day, with one piece of paper? That will take time, and Hamas will morph into something else if it's not Hamas. But I will point out that now the other Middle Eastern countries have a responsibility to make sure that the negotiations and the treaty that they have signed will be implemented on the ground, because as I say, a piece of paper means nothing. Let's implement it on the ground and get it done.
So how optimistic are you that that's going to happen, given that even today, as the countries gathered, the leaders in the region gathered with the president, hosted by Egyptian President El-Sisi, that it was the Turkish president, Erdogan, that basically vetoed the presence of Prime Minister Netanyahu?
Well, as chairman of the Europe Subcommittee on Foreign Affairs, I've already held one hearing on Turkey, concerned about Turkey's NATO ally actions in the Middle East, looking to the east. I think this is very concerning, but we can never lose hope, Tony. We need to continue to pray for the peace of Jerusalem. We need to continue to pray that this will hold on the ground. But you asked me how optimistic I am. I have to be optimistic, but as a military planner for decades, I must look at it realistically and say that Hamas will do everything it can to cheat.
Let me ask you this question, because we had 20 hostages who were alive were released. We had almost 2,000 Palestinian prisoners that were released, some of them in prison for murder, but they were released not to Gaza. These are coming from Judea and Samaria. They were released to Ramallah. I mean, we're told that the Palestinian Authority and Hamas are not connected, but it appears this deal does connect them.
Well, of course it does. If they're released into Judea and Samaria, of course they are. And Israel does this every time there's a prisoner exchange. They release many more prisoners than they receive back. So this is the standard operating of the Middle East. Israel gives more than it gets. Look, it's tried to trade land for peace for 4 times, and now it took President Trump to get this done.
But is there concern with these terrorists who have been incarcerated being released into Judea and Samaria, that creates even more instability right there in the heartland?
Oh, absolutely. You think these people care what's on that piece of paper? Absolutely not. They will go back to include strapping bombs on themselves. So this is a very dangerous period. And Israel, because it's in Judea and Samaria, Israel needs to be very careful and very watchful of what they are doing. And I'm sure they are.
Congressman Self, switching gears here, or just have a couple minutes left. Let's talk shutdown. Government still shut down, coming up day 13. What are we hearing?
We're hearing it's going to be a while. On the 18th, they've got the Hate America rally on the Mall. We understand that it will not reopen. The Democrats will not vote for anything until after Hate the America rally on the 18th. So stand by. It's going to take a while longer.
Now, I understand some conversations I had over the weekend that the president is working to pay our men and women in uniform, the military, so that they will be paid during the shutdown.
We're hearing the same thing. I'm not sure how he's going to do that because funding has stopped. I assume that he is finding funds that will bleed into this fiscal year, and he will use it to pay the troops and take it from other programs. But we haven't heard what programs. We haven't heard exactly how that's going to work. And the speaker today warned that the troops may see a delay in their paychecks. So I think the details of this, as far as I know, are still being worked out, Tony. But the president has committed to it. So let's hope it works, because that is one of the big issues that he can take off the table and put more pressure on the Democrats.
All right, Congressman Keith Self, always great to see you. Thanks so much for taking time to join us today.
You, Tony.